In the world of fiction, there are few characters that really break the common tropes. Specifically in the category of the so-called superheroes, there is a very straightforward approach to every character. Super strong, saves people, does good, all of that equals a superhero. But today, we'll look at a character who is, by the definition of the show, a superhero, but breaks every possible chain that holds him in those confines. One of the strongest Viltrums, and a loving father, who saves the world because he is supposed to. Or is he? Omni-Man, or Nolan, a character from the comic book series Invincible, will be analyzed through the lens of the 5-factor model of personality, also known as the trait theory. This theory categorizes individual personalities into 5 broad dimensions: openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Omni-Man, or Nolan's Viltrumite sensibilities, have been in conflict with his newfound life on Earth. Let's think about who Nolan actually is for a second. He is an accomplished general for a space imperialist empire who has been indoctrinated since birth with the belief that all non-Viltrumites in the universe are inferior beings who only exist to hinder or further the expanse of their empire. The Viltrumites who demanded unwavering loyalty from their subjugated planets. Some species resisted and refused the takeover. To that end, the Viltrumites had purged the species that refused to be a part of their empire, either through global genocide or by obliterating the species' planet. The Viltrumites wanted to be the only thriving species in the galaxy because they were superior. He literally grew up in a society where if one Viltrumite is killed by another citizen, the victim is vilified for being weak, and the murderer is praised for bettering their society by removing a weakling from their ranks. Nolan is the perfect example of how a villain doesn't need a tragic backstory to be sympathetic. That is, if you consider him a villain. Darth Vader was seduced by a demon because he wished to protect his love. Arthur Fleck became the Joker due to massive bullying. Viltrumites often have abusive childhoods that turn them into unhinged lapdogs. So considering how calm and composed Nolan is, he probably had loving parents, or just not neurotic at all, right? Nolan was sent to Earth to weaken its forces from the inside, allowing the other Viltrumites to easily invade and conquer the planet. However, Nolan gets distracted in his mission, ends up marrying a human, and becomes a father to a half-human, half-Viltrumite, his son named Mark. As a result, Nolan's character, personality, and belief system goes through major altercations and ultimately transforms into a completely new pattern of thinking. This is where the audience can sympathize with Nolan. He doesn't have a "oh God, what have I done" moment. He has a "why does this feel so wrong" moment, which to me is more relatable, since we've all had that moment where we think we're doing the wrong thing, but we don't understand it. In the beginning of the story, Nolan appears open-minded, adapting to human society and exploring Earth's cultures with his wife Debbie. However, his openness is limited and his loyalty to the Viltrumite Empire takes precedence, leading him to confront his superhero son, Mark, and nearly kill him, and coming clean about the fact that he was the one who murdered the rest of the heroes on Earth. Despite this, Nolan spares Mark and Earth, showing a crack in his Viltrumite armor. As he questions his purpose, Nolan begins to deviate from his orders. He leaves Earth without a sense of purpose, wandering endlessly till he finds a black hole, and decides to end himself. This is when he is distracted by a spaceship, being pulled into the black hole. He saves this spaceship of short-lived Thraxans. This act sparks genuine empathy and compassion, leading Nolan to abandon his supremacist beliefs and adopt a more open and transformative mindset, appreciating the value of other life forms. Conscientiousness. Nolan's sense of duty and responsibility is evident in his dedication to protecting Earth and fulfilling his obligations to the Global Defense Agency. However, his unwavering loyalty to the Viltrumite Empire leaves him to commit atrocities, such as killing fellow Guardians and nearly destroying a city. Despite this, Nolan's conscientiousness is also shown through his adherence to the Viltrumite belief system, which has driven him for 2,000 years. After having a son and experiencing a transformative event, Nolan exhibits self-discipline by sparing Mark's life. He also engages in introspection, recognizing his past mistakes, and ultimately changing his ways. Extraversion. Nolan projects a calm and stoic exterior, but reveals outgoing tendencies in his interactions with others. He is assertive, confident, and sometimes brutal, never shy or timid. While maintaining relationships with his family, underlying tensions stem from his hidden motives. His outgoing nature is evident in his globe-trotting adventures with Debbie and strategic collaborations with fellow superheroes. However, as the story unfolds, Nolan's outgoing personality wanes, particularly after the events on Earth leave him without a sense of purpose. He becomes increasingly isolated, embarking on solo space travels, contemplating suicide, and spending extended periods in solitude. Agreeableness. Nolan's willingness to get along with others is limited and dependent on his goals. While he can work collaboratively with fellow superheroes to protect Earth, his loyalty to the Viltrumite Empire still takes precedence, because he has been one for 2,000 years. He may appear cooperative when it serves his purpose, but his ultimate allegiance to the Viltrumite agenda reveals a conditional and self-serving aspect to his agreeableness. Neuroticism. Nolan's character exhibits exceptional emotional stability, remaining calm and composed even in the face of extreme challenges. He rarely shows signs of anxiety or emotional turmoil, instead projecting a stoic and collected demeanor. However, this emotional stability may be a result of his unwavering commitment to Viltrumite ideology, which emphasizes dominance and suppression of emotions rather than genuine emotional well-being. Moreover, Nolan's ability to maintain a normal facade despite internal conflict stems from his emotional resilience. Nevertheless, his apparent lack of neuroticism may also be attributed to the rigid obedience and authority inherent in Viltrumite ideology, which suppresses doubts and dissent, potentially masking underlying emotional turmoil. Now let us compare and contrast Nolan on the scale that I made. When we're talking about openness, Nolan scores low. He's a traditionalist, adhering to the conventional Viltrumite norms and resilient to change. His rigid thinking and lack of creativity are evident in his straightforward approach to problem solving. If it talks too much, just beat it up. Nolan rates quite high on the conscientiousness scale. He is a disciplined and responsible individual, diligently fulfilling his duties as a Viltrum and a leader. His organized and systematic approach to fighting crime and protecting the world is a hallmark of his conscientious nature. As a confident and charismatic superhero, Omni-Man scores high on extroversion. He is assertive, outgoing, and seeking social interaction, often taking the lead in public appearances and team collaborations. Omni-Man's agreeableness is moderate. While he values teamwork and cooperation, he can also come across as authoritarian and dismissive of others' opinions, particularly if they contradict his own beliefs. Omni-Man's neuroticism is relatively low. He appears emotionally stable, resilient, and capable of managing stress, even in the face of catastrophic threats. Look at him staring into the black hole like it's nothing. However, his past experiences and the weight of his responsibilities may occasionally surface as subtle emotional cracks. Thank you so much for watching this character analysis for our Personality Theories project. And a big thank you to Ma'am Maheen for allowing us to get creative and craft something we are passionate about.